All right. Well, your name is Kevin.
Horn.
Kevin Horn.
Yes.
All right. Well, Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yours, about you and your firm?
Okay. Sure. I've been practicing architecture for about 35 years.
Uh-huh.
So I'm towards the end of my career, with any luck. um, I really have done hospitality pretty much my whole career, and then about 20 years ago started my own firm doing hospitality and resort work, and with the staff and interior design. For about 10 years we operated, and we did projects in Hawaii, a couple of resorts on Kauai, and a number of single family homes. And we've done some resorts here in the Park City area, and a lot of resort homes here in the Park City area. Other areas that we've done one-off homes here and there, California, New York up in the Hamptons area, Florida, Naples, Florida, and a few projects like in Idaho, done a couple projects in California. But most of our work now is resort homes, which we do here in Park City, kind of specializing in Old Town. So we do a lot of restoration work, which this home that we're sitting in is. This is the addition to a historic property, and then so we've got a number of these under construction now, and then we do new projects in some outlying areas, like there's an area called Red Ledges, Glen Wild, some ski out property out of Deer Valley that we've done homes there as well. Those are new construction, much grander than this. Homes in Old Town have a whole different scale to them, and so things are just a lot tighter, a lot more vertical. And then in Hawaii we do ocean, golf course, those kind of amenities, gated communities that we have there. Most of the work's on Kauai, but I've done projects on Maui and Oahu as well. So, and that's what I'm doing now. I've shrunk the firm over the last 10 years to where it's just myself operating solo. And so I design everything myself, and we have clients that have multiple homes, and then they have friends, and then that develops into others. So the firm has always been word of mouth. Even when we did larger projects, it was always just word of mouth that we operated, repeat clients. And it's seems to be it's been a fun career. It's been exciting projects that we've been able to do. So,
so you're now working in Mark's and Margie's house, right?
Right.
That we visited today.
Yes.
What were the challenges that you had to face when you were designing the house?
So when we do a project in historic Old Town Park City, we have to preserve, not even restore, but we have to preserve the old structure. And that means like we can't just take off all of the old clapboard siding and put on new siding. If you take it off, you have to panelize it, document where each board goes, and like they don't even want the paint, they want to see the paint chips, and we can repaint over it, but they want to see the old texture of 100-year-old siding and stuff.
All right.
So what we'll usually do is we will start like their home. We start with kind of build the house inside out. So we'll take an old structure, we'll gut the inside, we'll start with the inside face of the outside walls and do our waterproofing, insulation, and everything in, versus when you typically build a home, you build the frame and then you do all that from the inside out. So we kind of build opposite. We open up the inside because, of course, we can do whatever beams and steel and things we want to inside. So we like to vault the ceilings and make those as large. And then we're allowed to do additions up to a certain coverage of the lot. And there's a number of requirements that we do, which we would do anyway, which is make those not look like we're just have old plus new.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll do maybe a glass bridge connection element, or maybe a gap, or maybe something that links the two together. So you can see where old stops and new begins.
Mm-hmm.
And then the new has to have vocabulary that kind of speaks to the old. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, a spaceship landed next to a miner's cabin kind of a look. The city tends to regulate those types of things. They have a lot of regulations, which are things that we would do design-wise anyway, but then you've got to meet the requirements of the city.
Yeah.
We have height requirements and, footprint requirements. These are all old miner lots that are 20 feet wide, 75 feet long. Some of them you'll get 2 lots or 1.5 lots or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like the Altars lot is 25 feet wide, and that's really all we've got to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we create confined spaces. So to make them feel like a modern space on the inside, we really have to open them up, do as open a spaces as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Structurally, we do very thin floor structures because height is a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get as high as ceilings as we can, and that creates challenges into everything that goes in behind the walls, light
Mm-hmm.
fixtures, heating ducts, and things like that. So we've been going with what we call split systems, which allow us to do, instead of like 1 or 2 or 3 furnaces in a furnace room,
Mm-hmm.
we can do these little small air handling units throughout the home.
Oh.
There might be 8 or 10 of them throughout the home. So you're doing room by room. And then we always just conceal those within walls so that you never know that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
That lets us get things, really, when there's no wall space or ceiling space to run ducts and things like that, that lets us get things really
yeah,
tight.
absolutely. Yeah, one of the things that I noticed when we were at the house, and it's related to your point of height limitations, the slabs are really, really thin, right? Like you're using 2x6 or 2x8 together. The space maybe like,
and it's even engineered lumber so that we can use the 6-inch.
Yeah. So you can go largest spans and stuff like that, but it's tricky, right? And that's why it looks minimum. I mean, we're used to usually use like a 12-inch joist where you can run all the ductwork and then pipes and everything inside.
Yeah.
But here you're limited. I mean, you don't have enough. Let's call it depth of the slab, so you cannot run anything inside. And also, maybe you can run it, but you cannot turn it because you cannot perforate any of these joists. Right.
And we have to double up those so that the space between them, instead of being 16 inches on center, you might have over a foot between them. Now you've got 3 inches between them.
Yes.
So we've got to use special light fixtures that will fit within that space.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the duct work that we run is usually quite small because it's only serving that room.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're talking 4-inch ducts, things like that are serving those rooms.
Great.
And then all of these rooms all these homes also have to be fire sprinkled protection. And so, that's another layer of stuff that we've got to get in
really
tight
but
spaces.
That's because of township, like zoning, or because IBC technically
actually the new IBC requires fire protection in all residential structures now. That was the 2018, but Utah is stuck with the 2015 and does not require it, so it's by municipality. And this city requires it in all structures.
All right.
And a big reason for doing that, of course, is that we have 3-foot setbacks. So we may be 6 feet from the next house. Yeah. And then if there's an overhang, you may be 4 or 5 feet at max separation between structures.
All right.
And so it's really, when you get up on the mountain, then you're surrounded by trees. And so you also need to protect it there. As you look around us here, we've got 6, 8, 10 feet of snow on the ground. So you're not driving fire engines out around hotels to protect people. So because of all those, they just made a blanket requirement to have fire protection for everything.
It makes sense.